Hi everyone, this is Anna from Koala Soap, and I've had some requests on how I do my packaging for my soaps. So the first part will be me showing you how I seal. I have a little bit of the 4x6s left of shrink wrap, and I like this brand because it doesn't have any kind of odor. I will be upgrading to 6x6 because sometimes when you have a little bit of a top on these, it's hard to get them into the shrink wrap. So as you can see, I wouldn't have much room here. And to put it in this way, it's extremely hard, if not impossible. So these are okay for, your soaps, but if you're going to be doing any kind of decorating on top, I would go ahead and upgrade to the 6x6. So these are already in our shrink wrap. Now I've never tried it with Scotch tape, but we'll go ahead and do it. So I guess how I would do it is something like, like this. I don't know, I've never used tape before, but I have heard people say they've used tape. So let's try it with some transparent Scotch tape and see how it works. So that'll be our seal on one of them. The next one, I'm going to actually use my dinosaur sealer. This thing is about, I don't know, it's very old, but it still works like a charm. So what we're going to do is we squeeze down, and we hear a click and it goes off, and that's how we know it's heated and ready. So then we'll put our soap in. Try to do it as close as you can without actually touching the soap, and it comes right off. And so now you have a seal. There were 4 soaps. One is already gone. These will be going to my mom's nurses that are taking care of her. And then you're just going to dispose of these. So what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and turn this off. And it's like a curling iron, I guess, if you had to think about it that way. It needs to be cooled down before you put it away. The next thing I'm going to grab is my heat gun. I do use a heat gun. I don't use a blow dryer or anything like that because it was a small investment. It was 20 bucks. It's worked like a charm. The first one I'm going to heat gun is going to be this one with this tape on it because I honestly don't know how it's going to work. My thought is the tape will be visible, so I think I'll be just putting the label right over it so you won't see it. But we'll see. I've never done it with tape before, but I guess if you don't have a sealer, we'll see if it works. So what I do is I go ahead and I turn it on. Give it a second. And then you're going to run it through real quick. And what I like to do is because the edges here, I don't know if you can see it, like up here, that could actually dry sharp, I think. So what I do is I touch it while it's still wet, and I kind of smash it down. And that way there's no edges on it. Okay, so that did pretty good even with the tape on there. So my idea is we're just going to put a label right there, and we'll hide it. Same here. You don't do this for very long. I have in the past, made sure there was a little bit of a hole so that people could smell it and make sure they like the scent. But these are already going to Mom, so I'm not too worried about that. So one of the things you'll notice is like right here, there's a little thing. Now look, that's really hard now. That's like a little thorn. You see that? It's a thorn. So what I'm going to do, this one's not so bad, but it's still, I mean, you hand this to someone, it might hurt. So what we're going to do is we're going to remelt them, and then I'm going to push it down. That way it's flat. And so the first part is done. And every once in a while, there might be a little hole in there. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can. That's fine. They can smell it. It's great. Sometimes it happens, but the good news is you'll keep your soaps nice and fresh. This is I use a low sweat soap base, so I don't get a lot of the glycerin beads, even though I live in kind of a hot area. But if you don't use a low sweat, you have a base that you really love, then what I would suggest you do is you shrink wrap these as soon as they're cool enough, and then that'll stop your sweating. If it does sweat, just go ahead and wipe it off. You can wipe it off with a moist cloth, and then I would go ahead and get these shrink wrapped as soon as possible. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get our label done. So after we have our labels, whichever labels you decide to choose, we're going to go ahead, and I go to Avery because they have a lot of templates and they'll actually save my old ones. Now if you're doing a lot more soap than I am, of course you'll probably want to get your labels done, probably not in your home. It'd be a lot cheaper to order them by bulk. But for me, it's just a few soaps and it's going to people in the family. So that's basically how I do it. So the first thing we do is we're going to go, once you're in your account, and I do believe you're going to have to set up an account to use their templates. You're going to go to start a new project. And then you're going to type in your label number. So ours was 22806. And they're right here. So we will click on them, select this template. And then they come with all of these cute templates you can do. Now I used to do things like this with a picture on it, but I found that for me it sometimes seemed to distract from the actual design of the soap and what I wanted the design to look like. So you're just going to scroll down and they have a lot of templates. But one of my favorites is a real basic one. It's usually on this side over here, but this is good because this kind of gives you an idea. So this looks actually pretty good to me here. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Select this design. And then what I'm going to do is, for this soap, I've already named it Lovely. And so I'm going to go ahead and type it in. And you can make that bigger. I'm just going to make that, leave it alone for right now, just so I can see how it all looks. I'm going to change, I'll probably just take out directions completely. Ingredients, I will move up. And I just, like I said, I just do real basic designs just because I don't know, it seems like some people really prefer that. So what I'll do is I already copied and pasted my ingredients. Oh, well, I didn't mean to do that. So let's, oh good, there's an undo. Let's do undo. Hey, okay. Delete that and we will, so it's not letting me paste, so I'm going to do Control V. Okay, so then we will go ahead, wait till we get those little crosses here, and you can get your ingredients from wherever you're purchasing your soap. If it's not listed, then what I would probably do is email them and ask them what the ingredients are in the soap. So now I can make things a little bit bigger here. And when you get there, and I just print this off on my regular printer at home, nothing, and it's an inkjet. It's nothing spectacular, but it's a good one, and it's lasted forever because I also do a lot of vinyl stuff on it for printing on vinyl. So that's going to be our basic design. It looks like it may not be centered. There. Let's make sure you're centered. Okay, so it's a real basic design, and I have no, I don't want to waste any of these labels, so I'm going to go ahead and print all 4 with this. And what I usually do, again, because I'm not selling my soaps per se, but it's not, you know, a crime if you go ahead and you make other soaps that you also name the soap with the same ingredient. So basically that's how I go ahead and label my soaps before I send it. And so we'll go ahead and preview. It looks good. Now you can print it yourself or let us print it for you. I will go ahead and print it myself, and I'm going to print all because I honestly do. It looks like custom selection here. Oh, see, you can. That's great. Awesome. Let's see if it works. Okay, so what we'll do is we will print these bottom. Actually, I only need 4 or 3 labels, so well, I'll just keep it at 6. That's fine. Actually, I'll make another loaf. That's what I'll do. So I will do 8 labels. I'm going to waste a sheet. Well, I won't waste a sheet. If I can do this, if I can save these and print them later, great. So I will anticipate, and I actually purposely did it to where I wouldn't do these top ones. I wanted to see how it printed out. So we will go ahead, and it's going to go ahead and say get PDF to print. I want you to save. If I'm going to use this design again, I will save. So let's just say lovely. Save to my account. Okay. Open PDF. So what we'll go ahead and do is we will print these out and see how it looks. The one thing I forgot to add, I was kind of looking over it before I printed, is I forgot to add fragrance oil. And I am going to actually put it actually right here. And I also forgot weight. So what I'm going to do is I will move this down just a smidge. And I'm going to see if I can add my weight. And the way I get my weight is simply by weighing it on the kitchen scale. Add text box. So there. Okay. That's fine. And we're going to move it down. And you can obviously see that this is a different text than the rest. This is all up to you. It is your baby. This is a little bit too big, and what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to make it smaller first, and it's kind of dark. I want to match it, so this is, you can see here what the font is. And I'm going to make it smaller because it really just doesn't need to, there, perfect. Okay, now we're ready to go. Lovely looks off to me. I don't know, it just kind of, they're saying, I'm really awful at lining stuff up, so I'm going with that line when it appears. I'm just going to go with it. I think it's because it's in cursive and on a slant. Okay, so now we are ready to print. I will go ahead over here and I will print the ones I want, and I will show you the finished result.